Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to My Hero Academia Season 5, Episode 23, titled Tenko Shimura Origins. Memories from Shigaraki's past as Tenko Shimura resurface as he confronts Reed Destro. So obviously, this is going to be Shigaraki's backstory, like how we've had glimpses of Spinners, we had glimpses of Magnes before her death, we've had Twices, we've had some of Toga's. Like, obviously, it's Shigaraki's time. But the last episode, we had Twice overcoming his trauma in regards to making clones of himself because he was facing skeptics clones of him and they broke his arms, making him realize, hey, I've taken more damage than a clone can handle. Obviously, I am the real one. And so he made two clones of him, who then made two clones, and they all made two clones, and then suddenly the town was quite literally flooded with Twices. And one of them managed to make it up the top of the Dacre Tower. Not Dacre, is this Dacre? I think it is. Tower. And he started making clones of the League in an attempt to save Giran, but then Redestro took them all out. Until Shigaraki made it to the base of the tower and collapsed it. So obviously we're going to see the follow-up on that in 3, 2, 1, go. A few minutes earlier. He needs to measure again because she hit a growth spurt. That's funny. Of course, that means it's gonna be a busted up Toga. It is a very interesting application of his power to well, that's not a nice comment. To use the double as a source of a blood transfusion for the original. Like, that's very interesting. And I don't remember if that scene was in the manga or not. Also, I noticed before starting this episode, this is the third last episode of the season. Like, I really had a month left if I could have stuck it out before the end of that season. But yeah. Then again, I didn't know when season 6 was starting, so I still would have missed it until I saw other people reacting to it, which is what spurred me re-picking these up now, because I saw there were reactions up. See, normally a voice quirk shouldn't be able to go through electricals. Like, what's it called? Mind control. What's his name? Anyway, he can't do it through technology. So he actually makes fake vocal cords. He. It's still a little shit. See, that already showed something interesting about Shigaraki. Because he just destroyed his shoes using power, but he wasn't touching his shoes. At least not with his hands, his feet were. So his awakening is even more than just using it on the full chain of people like he did. See, something I've always wondered. He has said in the past, in like, or even way back at the start, that the hand on his face is father. Yet he's also apparently blocked out all his memories from his childhood, so how did he know that was his father? Hmm. And there you see it. I forget if the name Awakening had been said before, so I may have done slight spoilers, but see, his quirk's just funny. He's literally manifesting his stress into raw physical output, even projectiles. He is basically the Hulk if it was stress instead of anger. And enter Machia. Yeah, that's Shigaraki. Tenko Shimura, age 5. There is so much information in what he just said, and I'm pretty sure more stuff that comes up in this thing that I'll leave it till after the episode to talk about. He knows the price of being a hero is. He doesn't hate you, Tenko. He hates his mother. He really does look like a little Deku right there. That was when his power manifested. See, back then it wasn't full, um, like fully decaying. It was chunking. And there we go. We have the full backstory of Tenko Shimura. Just jump ahead to the. Yeah. So, the scene that I thought was going to be in this wasn't. Um, Now, I know this is a scene in the manga. I think it's from before this. I've never been able to find it. However, if you go to um, the channel Zonin, ZHONIN, in many of the ones where he references Shigaraki, most of them were going to be spoilers from up this point, so maybe go back. There is a panel in the manga of a young Shigaraki being brought home by a mysteriously cloaked figure with the same kind of hat and face shading that is always shown for One for All. And they make a specific point to say that Shigaraki was 5 at that scene and didn't have a quirk. And that his allergies had recently been flaring up. Yet, at the start of the show, it's stated that if a child doesn't get it by 4, they're not going to. So, by all accounts, Shigaraki should be quirkless. However, if that was All for One who brought him home that day, which would have been around the time of all this happening based on his age and everything, then there is a theory in the community that the decay quirk is not Shigaraki's true quirk, and that he was originally quirkless, and that All for One targeted him because of his connection to Nana Shimura. He couldn't get to Kotaro when he was a child, A, because Nana was there, and then B, because he was in protection. However, once Kotaro grew up, had a family of his own, and had his own children, then All for One saw another opportunity to destroy the legacy of Nana Shimura. So, it's never been outright confirmed. In fact, it won't be outright confirmed until the end of the show. Well, the story, if it is true. And then Shigaraki will realize that everything that's gone wrong in his life is because of All for One. Because he doesn't know about Nana being a past wielder of One for All, and her dying in a battle against All for One. So he doesn't know that it's because of All for One that she abandoned her child, and then that child grew up to hate heroes, and then was verbally, up until that last point, and then physically abusive to his son, who wanted to be a hero. And then to then find out that All for One also gave him the quirk that killed his dog, his sister, his mum, his mother's parents, and he was able to use to kill his father. Yeah, that's definitely end of series thing. But yeah. Because I've never been able to find it. I'm looking now, but yeah, there's no. I can't find the panel. But anyway, there's another thing that has stemmed from Shigaraki being 5 when his quirk first came to be. And this is in relation to yet another controversial theory, in that All for One is Midoriya's dad. Now, I don't believe that. However, I do believe that he gave Shigaraki the quirk. But the reason I said that it's related to that is, well, Shigaraki's 5 years older than Midoriya, and Midoriya is quirkless. But if All for One was his dad, then maybe he took the decay quirk from Midoriya and gave it to Shigaraki. Because there's been no record of anyone having that decay quirk in the past. So, surely, if he took it from someone who was an adult, they'd have been on the quirk registry. If he took it from someone in the past, there'd have been stories of someone with such a devastating decay quirk. So, obviously he took it from someone who was young. Because once they first manifest their quirks, they get put on the registry as what they think the quirk is, and that can be updated once they either go through growth, rediscovery, or awakenings. But yes, so like there is precedent, and thematically I can see why that would be the case. But yeah, so the reason I'm saying this is because, well, between that flashback that we saw, where he accidentally used it on his family, you could see that they weren't disintegrating fully. Like, sure, they did have the ash texture go over their full body, and they parts of them crumbled away. But there were also large chunks that reverted back to normal once he stopped touching them. However, when we see him at the start of the show, he's able to like fully disintegrate things. Then when we see him in the Shihazaikai arc, he's able to almost instantly destroy a person. Then now in the reawakening, he's able to destroy things that are touching the things that he's destroying instantly. Because he took out that massive wave of liberation members while he was running across the wall. And yeah, so it's very interesting. Plus, there's now he's able to do it without putting all his fingers on, which is the awakening part of it. And there's the part where he seemingly destroyed his shoes using his feet. But yeah, that may have just been a misinterpretation of the scene on my behalf, though. His shoes may have just been tattered and he, like, I don't know, they just decided to break. But yeah, I'm trying to think of things to say without spoiling it. Like, obviously, we know that not long after this happens, he's found by All for One. Because we know that he's been raised since he was a child. We saw a scene of them together in the preview for the next episode. We saw when he was being first told whose hands were what, that it was All for One doing it. So, like, obviously we know that, but there are other things that can be said that fill in the gaps that I'm trying carefully not to mention. But anyway, I guess with that being said, I'm going to end this here. I'll catch you in the next one.